Lena Hart's whisper trembled sharper than she intended. You drive me insane. Good, Adrian Cross murmured, stepping close enough that his cologne wrapped her in its heat. Because you set me ablaze. His fingers brushed against hers, hesitant, tentative. Then, as though some invisible thread snapped, his mouth crushed onto hers. The kiss was reckless, desperate, years of rivalry and ambition twisted into fire. She told herself to pull away, to resist, but her body betrayed her, melting into his grip as his hands framed her face. When they finally broke apart, her lipstick smeared, heart racing, she whispered, "This is a mistake." Adrian pressed his forehead to hers, his voice low. "Then let's make it twice." That night, with the city of Orion glittering behind them like a promise and a warning, Lena Hart and Adrian Cross surrendered to something neither could undo. Weeks passed, but Lena buried the memory beneath long nights at the Orion Island law firm. She drowned herself in case files, arguments, and anything that numbed the taste of Adrian's lips. She repeated to herself it had been weakness, a lapse she would never repeat. But when the nausea began, when mornings turned into battles between her will and her body, denial crumbled. At a small clinic on Omori Boulevard, the sterile smell pressed down on her. The doctor's words rang almost surreal. "Congratulations, Miss Hart. You're pregnant." Her breath stalled. Pregnant. The word hammered through her like a gavel. Every carefully built plan, her rise from intern to partner, her ambition to run her own firm, shuddered under the weight of that single truth. The Orion High Court buzzed with the tension of two titans colliding. Lena straightened the lapels of her navy suit, chin lifted as her cool gaze locked on Adrian Cross across the courtroom. He sat at the defense table with the ease of a man who owned not only half the skyline but the very room. She despised that confidence. Or maybe she despised how much it intrigued her. "Objection, Your Honor." Lena's voice rang sharp as steel. The defense attempts to mislead with speculation. Adrian leaned back, smirking. He rose deliberately, commanding attention. If intelligence is speculation, perhaps counsel should prepare better before stepping in here. Laughter rippled. Lena's cheeks burned, but she stood taller, heels clicking against polished floors. "Ideal, Mr. Cross. Not theatrics. Some of us actually work for a living." The gavel cracked. "Order!" But the fire between them was already lit. That evening, after the final ruling, Lena found herself drawn not home to her quiet flat in Nova Heights but to a glittering gala at the Civic Center. She told herself it was for networking, for contacts. She told herself it wasn't because Adrian would be there. The chandeliers sparkled against glass walls. Lena, in emerald silk that hugged her form, had barely crossed the first group of guests before she felt him, magnetic, impossible to ignore. "Counsel." Adrian drawled at her side, tuxedo impeccable, bow tie undone, a glass of champagne in hand. "Didn't expect you tonight. Shouldn't you be home plotting my downfall?" She tilted her chin. "Some of us can separate work from pleasure. Can you?" His gray eyes swept her, slow and deliberate. "Because I can't decide if you're here to network or torment me." Their words circled like blades, but as the night thinned, they drifted together until they stood alone on the terrace overlooking Orion's glittering skyline. "You drive me insane," Lena whispered again, voice raw. "Good," Adrian breathed, stepping closer. "Because you set me ablaze." And once again, their mouths collided, reckless and desperate. Weeks later, Lena buried herself in her work, but her resolve cracked as her body changed. When the sickness became undeniable, she returned to the clinic. The doctor smiled gently. "Strong heartbeat." Lena's frown deepened. "Heartbeat?" The technician turned the monitor toward her. Two tiny shapes flickered on the screen. "Twins," she said softly. Lena's gasp filled the room. Adrian, at her side with fists shoved into his pockets, faltered completely. His eyes widened, his composure slipping away. "Two," he whispered, almost to himself. "Two heartbeats. Two lives binding them tighter than any courtroom rivalry ever had." Adrian exhaled, raking a hand through his hair. For once, the unshakable tycoon looked undone. Lena's hand instinctively cradled her belly, the weight of reality sinking into her bones. She was not just a lawyer anymore. She was a mother, twice over. And Adrian Cross was never going to let her face it alone. The Wheatmore Hotel's private lounge smelled faintly of leather and whiskey. A contract lay open between them. "Marriage," Adrian said flatly. "On paper, in public, in law. You live with me, present a family image. In return, you and the children have security. My legacy remains intact." Lena's heart slammed against her ribs. You can't be serious. Never more so. You want a puppet bride. A press release with a pulse, she snapped. Lena, he leaned forward, voice low and edged with steel. We are bound already. 2 children tie us tighter than any ring. The difference is whether we control the story or let the world destroy it. The cruel truth stung. A scandal could strip her career before it blossomed. She whispered, I can take care of myself. Adrian's gaze sharpened. On a lawyer's salary? With twins? Don't lie to yourself. You're strong, but this will break you. 2 weeks later, Lena Hart became Mrs. Adrian Cross in a silent civil ceremony. No family. No press. Just signatures. This is your home now, Adrian said as they stepped into his Banana Shore mansion. Marble gleamed, chandeliers sparkled. Lena's plain suitcase looked out of place in his empire. Home. The word felt foreign. This wasn't love, it was a contract. But nights told a different story. Storms rattled the glass as Lena wandered into the library. Adrian entered, shirt sleeves rolled. You should rest, he said. I can't sleep. He stopped too close. His hand brushed hers, igniting fire. Their kiss devoured every barrier, every denial. The contract dissolved in their hunger. But the mansion was no sanctuary. Whispers followed her, colleagues questioning her competence, society speculating cruelly about her pregnancy, her marriage. Bella Hart, the ambitious lawyer, had become Lena Cross, Billionaire's wife. Adrian's control tightened. Staff hired without her say, schedules dictated, bodyguards shadowing her steps. I won't live in a gilded cage, she snapped. I'm protecting you, he argued. No, you're protecting your name. Not me. The fracture widened until one night, after a brutal fight and a near miscarriage, Adrian's armor finally cracked. By her hospital bed, his voice trembled. I can't do this anymore. I thought control would protect us. But it's poison. Lena, I love you. I've loved you since you destroyed me in court. Her tears spilled. I'm so tired of fighting you. Then don't. Choose us. Not the contract. Us. The kiss that followed wasn't hunger, wasn't rivalry. It was a vow. Months later, the mansion echoed with soft cries and gentle laughter. Lena rocked their twins in the nursery as sunlight painted gold across their tiny faces. Adrian, no longer a man of steel and empire, crouched beside her, or softening his gaze. They are perfect, he whispered. They are ours, she smiled. On the balcony that night, with Orion's skyline glittering, Adrian wrapped his arms around her. Do you realize how much you've changed me? She leaned into him. No, Adrian, you changed yourself. You just let me see the man beneath the armor. Their kiss was slow, certain. No contracts. No courtrooms. Just Lena, Adrian, and the family neither had planned but both had chosen.